Hello again, this is Fractions Lesson 9-6, and our essential question today is how do you estimate parts? Now let's quickly review what does it mean to estimate. To estimate means to have an answer that is close to the real answer. We may not know the exact answer, but when we're estimating, we're pretty close. Now I wanted to show you something in Lesson 9-5, and I actually forgot about it, but it's an okay to review with. In regards to using a number line. And so I want you to look at this. If you remember this, we've used this in science. We've also used it in math. We'll use it some more later. But this is a measuring tool used in science. Do you remember the name of it? You're right. It's called a beaker. And so I want you to look at, first of all, the numbers that you see on the side. I'll try to zoom in where you can see it. It's a little hard to see, but you do see numbers on here. And this is actually a vertical number line. When you see a measuring cup or a beaker, you're going to see a vertical number line, a line that goes up and down. That's what I mean by vertical. And so you'll see, we've looked at these before, and we've of course looked at this particular beaker before. And you see that each line has a value. And so right here, the first number that we see is 200. Of course, 0 would be down here. And then we go 200, then you see 400, and then you see 600. So we're going up by even numbers, so they're skipping a number on the number line, but you should be able to see what this line is, this long line right here. So if it goes from 200 to 400, what will be the value of this line right here that doesn't have a number? Be in between 200 and 400, right in the middle. Should be 300, right? So in between 400 and 600 will be 500, 700, 900. And so that's what we're looking at. This will be an example of using a number line and being able to read a number line. So I wanted to show you this just as a way of review. So quickly, I do want to show you a number line like we did last time. Quick review, number line, of course, we're going to start with 0. Sometimes number lines can start with another number. Of course, number lines go on forever in both directions, but we're going to zoom in on one particular part. Of course, we're zooming on the one whole unit from 0 to 1. And in the middle, right here in the middle, is where we discovered was a half, because it's in the middle of 0 and 1. Now we're going to be looking at estimating parts, and of course we have over here fraction strips, and so these fraction strips actually work as a number line. So if we're starting here, would be 0, and over here would be 1, just like we would start here would be 0, and right here would be 1. So if I were to color in a part of this number strip compared to a number strip of another number strip, but it had fractions on it, how would you estimate about how much did I shade in? So I'm going to shade in this one. So let's say I were to shade in about this much. Okay. Now this particular number strip doesn't have a number line on it. It doesn't have fractions labeled. But if you're looking at this number strip compared to this one, because these start at the same point and they end at the same point, about what fraction of this one whole unit did I shade in? Can you see it? So what would be the fraction? Of course, if you're looking down here, you're going to see that's about the same. That's about 1/4. So I shaded about 1/4. Because we're going to use the word about, because when we use the word about, that means we are estimating. We don't know exactly, but we're pretty close. That's about 1/4. Well, what if I were to shade all the way up to here? We'll cover up my 1 a little bit. What if I were to shade all the way up to here? What would the fraction be? You can pause and think about it. What would the fraction be? If you notice, it's from here's 0, here's 1. I shaded more than 1/4. But I shaded half of the bar. Is that about halfway point? And so this would be about 1/2. And so when you're using this particular method, or using a number strip, and you're shading in, we're getting about a half. So this is 1/4, and here would be also 1/4. But this would also be, if we added these two together, that would be a half. And so this is what you can use. You can use a number line or number strips to be able to estimate about how much something is being shaded in or being counted.